Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to another art conversation with Farin, me. I'm pleased to introduce our today artist, Pamela Hanson. Dear Pamela, welcome to our conversation.
Hi, Farin. Thank you for this amazing invite. I'm so excited to be here.
All right, Pamela, how are you doing? How's everything?
I'm doing well right now. It's pretty hot here in Nebraska. It's about 89 degrees. And so the temperature is up and down, up and down, up and down tomorrow. And for all I know, it might drop. So right now I'm happy that the weather's on my side today.
Yeah, here we have nice day here too. I mean, it's around 70 and tomorrow we're gonna have around 70 something. I can't believe it.
Oh, nice weather for October.
Yeah, it is. It's really nice weather. All right, Pamela, let's get started. Would you please tell us about yourself, about your background, who you are, how and when you started to, you started art?
Oh, you want the whole deal. Okay. So in the art world, I go by Pamela Conyers Henson, and I'm a 3D artist. And for as long as I can remember, I've always done some type of art. I recall in the second grade, I'm drawing for the teachers, drawing for my classmates and things like that. And then it just always became a part of me. As I got older, I remember in middle school, I was working on a big drawing, and the teacher was like, well, hey, I'm gonna submit this for an art exhibition. And it was Golden Key Award. And they asked, could I? I said, nope, this is my personal thing. This is my art. No, I don't want nobody to see it but me. And so, a little while later, I got back to school, and then the teacher was like, you won the Golden Key of Art. So rather than being happy and excited, I was mad. I was mad because you asked me if you could do this, and I told you no, but you did it anyway. So I focused on that and not the art aspect of it. But it wasn't until I was turned 13, and I was with a friend of mine. She said she wanted to grow up and be a writer, and I said, when I grew up, I want to be an artist. But everything I always did was like drawing up in my bedroom, things like that, to where only one ever saw what I did was me. I think in high school, I took more in class. By the time I got to college, an art professor said, hey, I think you should pursue art. I'm like, nah, no. Because I didn't see art as something special. I just saw it as something that everybody could do if you just sat down and did it. But it wasn't until I got to college and one of my professors wanted me to submit for an exhibition in Chicago. And I kept telling him, nope. And he would ask me, did you submit? Nope. You submit? Nope. Nope, not doing it. Because I was afraid, because when you put your art out there, you're putting yourself out there, you open yourself up for criticism. And I was afraid, for that. So I was like, no. So, but I respected my professor enough to where I said, okay, I'm gonna take this leap of faith. I'm gonna apply. And I guess you could have heard the screams all over town when I got that letter saying I had been accepted in this exhibition at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. But that's when I realized there must be something to what I do. And maybe everybody can't do it, as I always thought. Just sit down and do it. And people say, I can't draw. Sit down and do it. Yes, you can. So from that point on, I just started continuing, art. I would draw my children when they were babies. I would do things like that, but I'm tactile. I like to work with my hands. It wasn't until 94, when I took my first sculpture class. And wow, that was, oh my goodness. It activated the senses of feeling of the cold bronze, the sculpting tools. I learned to use the hammer and chisel. That's an opportunity to get out any aggression that you might have. and it just bloomed. Bronze casting was the first, I want to say, official art that I did. Oh, this is one of my pieces I recently did, of Sister My Sister. It's an alcohol based, they use alcohol markers, and actually this will be going on the building in downtown Omaha. Probably won't start until spring, but it's based on relationships between women and how we lean on each other and support each other, whether we're physically there or not. And sometimes it's just knowing that you're there if I need you. So this one, I really enjoy doing it. And I just love I use the vibrant colors because it speaks to the vibrancy of relationships that women have with each other.
I mean, overall, what type of art you are known for?
Ooh.
I mean, I know you do different. I saw your work. You do painting, you do sculpture, you do mask. But what type of art you known for more?
In the beginning, it was for bronze.
Okay. Because
that was the first material I used, and I fell in love with it. But I think as I'm starting to grow artistically and in age, I feel like my work I'm stepping out of my comfort zone and start doing some mixed media type of work. I've done work with using microbeads and glass beads. I've incorporated mahogany veneer into some of my work. My daughter had given me a vintage silk kimono, but it was sort of tattered. She had saw it at a thrift store. She gave it to me and said, "Can you do something with this?" And I did. I used it as a background for a piece of artwork. And then I just played off the colors. So I think I'm starting to be known for more things. I've just finished an alabaster piece. I'm getting ready for an exhibition at the Kaneko Gallery. And so I'm stepping into some using natural products. I have a piece where I made out of sawdust, and I made clay out of sawdust. A friend of mine, Edith, gave me the recipe, and I just created it.
Yeah. So you do almost everything, I mean, you are not afraid now, as you said, you were really cautious to put your name up. Now you're not afraid, and you try to try new things.
Exactly.
And I feel you are good at everything because you have because of that artistic ability, and we all should try.
Thank you. Yeah, I think working on the vellum piece and this piece right here, Voices, it took me back to my childhood because I used to love to color and I used to love to use markers. So creating this piece, this is going to be part of a public arts pieces project as well. It just took me back to that sitting down and just coloring and being lost in your thoughts. So I really enjoyed creating this. And once again, it speaks to the relationship that women have with each other.
Yeah. What about the pattern you use? I know you use a lot of cultural references and symbols.
Yes.
Are there any specific type of culture into your artwork, or overall you use different cultures?
Yeah, and what I do, I focus on tribes of Africa. I focus on the different African fabrics. And so all of these, what I create these are prints, designs from African fabric.
Okay.
So I might pull something out of it, but I don't add anything to it. So maybe if it has a line going through it, I might not put that line in there, but I use the designs and patterns and fabrics as my foundation when I'm starting to lay down color.
Yeah. So may I know why? I mean, is there a reason you choose fabric? I mean, although African art overall, every single art in Africa, they have some meaning, they have some reason. Why you choose fabric?
I choose fabric and because of the colors.
Okay. Okay.
The color, because it's the vibrant colors, and it speaks to me, and I think it brings things alive. Even though you all have, and places in Africa, the homes will have the vibrant colors as well. But I think the colors gives me a sense of being alive, and it's just moving as opposed to something that's maybe a black and white or just all grays, things like that. But so I would rely on that. Now, the only time I didn't use the African fabric is when I was doing daydreaming, because this was, like I was telling you, this is that silk kimono that my daughter had given me. And daydreaming was based on being free and loving myself and my body being free to move around in my own space and not feeling self-conscious. Because when you're just in the house by yourself, there's no reason why you shouldn't have to wear clothes if you don't want to.
Yeah.
You know? So it was the way of giving myself permission to move freely in my own space and capture glimpses of myself without feeling, oh man, you know, you're just like, oh, okay. You're smiling at what you see as opposed to like, oh my goodness, you know, where's the road? So I love that because I found myself wandering around my house and I just stopped on this stool I have in my dining room. And I was like, oh, okay. I like that, this whole sense of freedom. And so I decided I wanted to create a piece.
So is this collage?
It is, I would say a collage in the smallest sense because that stool is made out of mahogany veneer.
Okay. Okay.
And the background is that silk fabric, but everything else is just acrylic paint.
All right. Wow. Very interesting. So that's why, you know, I mean, there are some meaning into every single painting and work. Is this also some kind of the background, some kind of fabric?
Yeah, it's fabric from Ghana.
Okay.
It's fabric from Ghana. And this Hear My Prayers was based on something that happened a long time ago, 1987, when I was pregnant with my son, and I got a call that my father had passed away. I went into labor, and I remember sitting in that hospital down in Brooklyn in Park Slope, holding my son and crying. Okay. And I wasn't just crying because I had just lost my father. I was crying because I knew what the world had in store for my Black son. And at that point, I knew I began just praying for his safety so he's able to navigate this world with as little pain as possible. So that's why, you know, I entitled to Hear My Prayers. And see, the thing is that event took place in 1987, but I created this in 2020.
Wow, very interesting.
But it's always been back there.
Yeah, and then I see there are two faces here, right?
Yes. So what you have is you have the child, and then I gave to look like she's also pregnant as well, but the faces is looking up as if you're praying.
All right. Okay. Okay. It makes sense. It's really, and also looking down at your child.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking down at my child, but I am also praying.
You have really good imagination.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right. I mean, so I know you have a lot of painting. I mean, this is also, I mean, I saw it and I tell you know, I have to ask a question. Are those real sand? I mean, so you put.
Yes, that is sand. So if you see the reddish color around the outskirts, that is sand from the Sahara Desert. I had the opportunity to go to Morocco, and I was riding a camel, and at the camel herdsman, after I got off, he had pulled out this red fabric bag, and he filled it with this beautiful red sand, and he gave it to me. Oh, I had to.
How you could bring it? I mean, I was just wondering, is it okay?
And the image was from a 400-year-old palace. It was fading away and things like that. So I wanted to recreate it, but put my own flavor into it as well. So I used the dyed alabaster dust. So all those other colors on the outskirts, that's alabaster dust from what I sculpt in stone. I keep it and I dyed it. And then in the middle, around the edges, is bronze dust. So when I work in bronze, I sweep everything up and I keep it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So kind of recycling.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. You know. But it's also for the visually impaired too, so that they're able to enjoy it. So I encourage people to touch so you can experience the piece of artwork. If you can't see it visually, I want you to be able to feel it, and you'll see the transitions from the different textures.
Oh, so I mean, the sand, I mean, it's just for my own knowledge. You use glue, right? I mean, it's just to attach it, right?
Yeah, what I did is I mix it with a little polyurethane.
Okay.
And then I just laid it down with a paint knife and just smooth it out like that.
All right. And all right, Miss, you have a huge number of painting. I mean, I do. It's to elephant. I know, like you kind of like elephant look like it because I see you have so much painting.
Yeah, I love elephants. I love them because they remember. They can find their way home. They remember their ancestors. They're very loving. They protect each other, and no matter what, they can.
Strong. They are the strongest in the world. You know.
Exactly, And so the two pieces I did with elephants, when I remember and finding my way home, speaks to people of color, especially of African descent. And so we're here and we're in a time of Ancestry.com, we're trying to find our connection back to Africa. So everybody's doing this because we don't have any stories about, our elders or ancestors on the family farm in Africa. There's nothing connecting us to Kenya, to Senegal, to Ghana, because that has all been destroyed and that link in the chain has been broken. Yes. So that's why when I have the white background is because we don't know where we're from and we're trying to find our way. So you see how the elephant's just like walking a little slow, the trunks down and things like that. And we're in search of where we came from. And then the next one is just, this one is with the microbeads, and they use those for the weighted blankets, the heated blankets, and they're gorgeous, they reflect light. So when I call this reflection of my ancestors, this is still, the elephant is standing still and functioning as a beacon of light to guide us back to where we came from.
I should share your artwork in my African class with my students. They are so beautiful.
Please do, please do.
I definitely do it as contemporary artists, and so meaningful, and how you go back to your root, and you, especially this elephant and the meaning, how you should remember and go and find, find out.
Exactly, yes.
So beside painting, okay, let's talk about your mask. You're interested about to know about your mask making. This is a cover of book.
Yes.
It says Throw 50 Faces.
Yeah, expression of Black
all, explain to us what inspired you to do this series. Of course, as African art, I should say African as a huge number of masks. So is that African mask inspiring you to do this 50? And another question, do you have a reason for number 50 and you choose? And
okay.
why you start to do masks?
Okay, well, actually, what I wanted to do, I wanted to capture those ancestral features, because what I realized is that we're in the mirror and we're in there long enough to do what we need to do, brush our teeth, do our makeup, whatever, do our hair, and we're out. We never stop to actually look at ourselves. But when a plaster mold is done, then you are able to look and see yourself in that mold. So what ended up happening, it was just supposed to be just capturing those features and that essence of each person. But what it turned out to be was a lot more than that. I was able to establish relationships. It became intimate relationship because I'm touching your face. I'm putting Vaseline in your face. I'm cleaning your face after the plaster's coming off. I'm guiding you to the sink to get the plaster off your face and things like that. So you have to have some trust. Some people,
as you talk, also show this video. You're doing this actually.
Yeah.
So
exactly. And please keep in mind, their straws will go. He will put his straws up his nose. So. I
don't think so. I can do this. I can't let anyone put things on my face. I don't know.
But I walk people through it and I tell them, because I know some people, when I explain the process, and I had a person start walking backwards out of my studio because they were like, no. And then I'll call you later and I never heard from the person, but I'm okay with that because it's okay to be scared. Because when I explain the process and what it's going to feel like when you close your eyes, and normally you run your hand over your eyes and you can still see the shadows. Well, with plaster over your eyes, there's complete darkness. I explain how the plaster goes on cold, and as it starts to set up, it turns warm, those type of things, so that you're not as scared when you go through the process. But I'll explain everything from beginning to end. If the person says, no, I'm scared, I can't do this. And I say, okay, thank you for coming. Because I don't want them to feel bad about it, because I know a lot of people can't do it. I did it once.
This is how you're cleaning them after that, right?
Yes. Yeah. And so I'm cleaning this is my nephew. I'm cleaning his beard, but it was so funny when I did men, when I would clean their faces, they loved it. And, so because they're like, oh, that's like a facial, that feels so good. And I'm scratching the beard and cleaning it. And I'll put a little moisturizer on the face when I'm done. And they would just sit there And they
Yeah.
said, "Oh, I feel so good."
Kind of massaging. So,
Exactly. Exactly. They loved it. They were like, "Oh, this feels so good. I've never had this done before." And
yeah.
see, that's my nephew's beard. I did beards that were even larger. And I had to really coat on the Vaseline so that they can keep the hairs on their face.
Okay. So you put, okay, so you cover their hair in, everything with something, and then you put plaster, right? And
So, yeah, I just make a template to go around their face so it won't fall back. And then Vaseline, I let them get their own straws. And then I just start laying the Vaseline, the plaster when it's thick. And I just walk them through it. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cover this next.
okay. So why, or what's the purpose of all this pattern on their mask? How you come up? Is that they want you to paint their face like this, or this is something you decide?
It's something I decide, and everything, what I do is I research African fabric. All of the designs are from some type of fabric. Now, sometimes it'll be a hit, and like this young lady right here, she's part of a sorority, and red, I think it's red and white are her sorority colors, things like that. And so it's just, I look at the facial features, I look at the fabric, and I just create it. I'll do it, one by one. So
Yeah.
there's a multiple steps in the whole process, and that's how I do it. So it's never any, "Hey, will you do my face like this?"
It's not
No.
right. You don't get commission. You don't ask, it's not like people asking you, can you do my face? It's like, do you ask them, can I do your face?
Yes, I will ask them. I have one of my friends, Celeste Butler. If she sees somebody, she'll say, "Hey, I just might want you to meet," and then she'll call me, "Are you at the studio?" "Yeah," and then she brings them,
Okay.
and then I talk with them. So this is the mask, the purple, gold, and black. That's the mask of my friend Celeste Butler. She was the first person I did.
Okay.
So, and I just went on from there, and the process was so amazing. I initially wanted to do 100 people, but what had happened is that I assumed that when I schedule an appointment, you're going to come, schedule an appointment, you don't come. It didn't work out like that. So what it was like, I scheduled an appointment and I'm waiting, and the person might not show up. So I said, okay, let me just be realistic about this. I'll do 50. So I just stuck with 50. I said, I'd rather do 50 and focus and do them great than do 100 and and not.
Are you still doing mask, or this is something are you still doing mask, or there's something was?
Well, actually, I am. I have an exhibition that opens up next Saturday and Sunday. So I'll be doing mask demos of masks. But one of my projects I want to do is go into different communities, like I'll go into the native reservations and start making masks of the different people and just travel around and do that. I just want to capture the cultural similarities and those features of different groups of people. So that's what I'm shooting for now.
All right. Yeah, there are a lot of similarities. I mean, especially like in terms of art, African art is the mother of all this type of cultural art. So you see a lot of similarities between African art and others, in particular Native American,
exactly,
et cetera, et cetera. So another question: why some of your masks you have some eyes feature for them, some clothes? Is that
And you know what? If I focus on the shape of the eye, sometimes the shape just gets me, and I want to amplify that. And that's when I'll take creative liberty from the fabric, because I said, "Oh, the eye is looking good." I want to amplify the eye. See, like with these right here, and I wanted to just, or maybe the way the eye closes and that lid just looks like they meet and it's just like centered or something. It's okay. I have to amplify this.
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, they are so beautiful and
Thank you. Thank you.
And I love them. Another series you do, I mean, which you said that was the first you start, bronze. Bronze work. Would you talk or walk us through this bronze work, and are they model, or like you're doing from how you make your bronze work?
Okay. Sometimes I have done bronze sculptures from a model, but models are hard to come by, I think, because sometimes when you ask somebody to model and they're a little suspicious, you have to convince them that you're an artist. And there's a guy, I'm not trying to chat you up. I just want you to model for me, so it opens the door to some uncomfortable situations. This was from a magazine. This is a Dinka, and it's actually from a book. And it was prompted by a long time ago, a friend of mine was telling me what had happened to her as a child in the department store. And so I wanted to show that not only that the beauty and then richness in the skin of people in Africa, but the beauty in the features as well. And not all African features are the same. So you'll see it's different. You'll see the Sudanese look different than Ethiopians, they look different than the Botswanans and the South Africans. So they have those different features, you know.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to show that natural beauty.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
Hamid, a scar on the face,
Uh-huh.
especially for women, was like a source of beauty. And different African culture, they have, you can distinguish, you know, with the different star on their face. You can distinguish which culture they came from.
Exactly.
Yes.
I thought that was beautiful. I thought that was beautiful. So Omaha, when they had a large influx of the Sudanese people coming into the country, we had a large amount of Sudanese that came here. And I just loved it. I would just, you know, look at the beautiful, the richness and the flawless, the skin was flawless. I mean, it was flawless. And I remember working with a young woman and I could tell that she wasn't, she was uncomfortable in her own skin. And then one day I had to tell her, because, you know, I said, you don't see how beautiful you really are.
Exactly.
I said, look at your skin, it's flawless. Look at you, your body is naturally elongated like a sculpture. I said, you are a walking sculpture.
Exactly.
You know, and then she a big smile came on her face and she said, thank you, miss, because these are the things that, you know, you have to acknowledge, embrace, and appreciate. And we have to teach.
That's the problem of all humankind, you know,
Exactly.
They never appreciate themselves.
Exactly.
This is beautiful. I mean, I love your bronze work. I
Thank
was
you.
just wondering, is that, you know, in Benin culture, in like Benin, also they do a lot. They used to do actually kind of like, you know, very old art, this kind of, you know, bronze work. So what are these things? Warrior, you said, are those like, you know, some kind of African warrior?
Yes, well, actually what it is a Miss Maasai woman and a Maasai warrior. Well, actually what happens is as they transition into manhood and then they have all of this beautiful hair that they've worked on that will get removed. And then they have to, okay, no more playtime. You're a grown man now. You have to get out there and handle business, things like getting married and things like that. So I guess I should have put pre-warrior on there to
or maybe initiation, because initiation also it's something they do in African art.
Exactly.
Almost for every stage of life, or like, you know,
Exactly.
you want to do, they have some kind of ceremony and initiation.
Yeah.
To enter, like kind of passageway, you know, to enter into a new stage.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you transition. So it's a rites of passage. And that is true. And when I started reading about the Maasai, and I just found so amazing some of the rituals. And once again, I fell in love with the bodies, the elongation of their bodies. And it's just so beautiful. And I see it as flawless. I mean, you don't see in the photos I had, you don't see people with the acne. You don't see any of those things. Their skin is like, you must be living right, eating right, doing what you need to do. And it's just that all around physical beauty. So I wanted to capture that and hold on to it. And this piece right here was the first relief I ever did. And so, so I'm really proud of that one because it captured what I wanted.
Yeah, that's very, very nice and very beautiful.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I know there are a lot into your artwork. We running out of time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we keep talking and all of a sudden I check the time. Goodness, like we are almost running out of time. And this is another bronze work of you in
yes.
Yeah.
And
so I know I wish we had more time to spend, but do you have any last word for our guest today?
Well, what I would say is that, and this is, I firmly believe that art is something that comes from within, and just going to school and getting a degree in art doesn't make you an artist. I believe that you are an artist as defined by your peers. Exactly. So if your peers refer to you as an artist, then you are an artist. So that's why, you know, it's it's important to understand that your degree as an artist doesn't give you automatically those skill sets to create artwork. So there are people who haven't gone to school and they have beautiful skill sets and they are gifted and they're able to get their blessings out there and everybody can see them. So if an art is within you, excuse me, don't wait and say, oh, I have to go to school so I can do this. No, I start creating now, do it now, and embrace that journey. Just embrace it.
Yeah, art is in our blood, right? We
Exactly.
have to discover it.
It is. It is.
Yeah. So I wish we had more time to spend and talk about your work,
yes.
but we are out of time. So if anyone interested to know more about Paloma, her work, this is the email address she provided, and you can email her, shoot an email, and I'm sure she would be happy to respond.
Most definitely.
And, yes. So, and also if you want to reach out to us, again, this is the email from Nova. You can reach out to us in the subject line, Art Conversation with Karin. Thank you very much. Thank you, Paloma.
Thank you, friend. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. See you another Friday with different artists. Thank you very much and enjoy your weekend.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.